crossover this weekend with different results, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. My name's Eric Leon, the man rated EDL, and I'm here with the man that wakes up in the morning and pisses excellence when he feels like it, Evan DeC, and we are the Old Amber Archives. So over this weekend, we had two cups in the local area, one at HP and the other one at Evolution's card shop. And Evan went to HP and did pretty solid for himself, pretty successful. And I went to Evolutions and well, I crashed out. So we're gonna talk about that today and how everything played out. So Evan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just relaxing today after playing in that cup yesterday. Uh, as you said, I did pretty good. I got the finals against one of our boys, Reno, that piece of shit. Besides been total looking ass, but yeah, it was cool. It was a good time. 40 players out. I feel like that's about 39 to 38 to 40. A lot of old heads. I saw my boy Paul, who I remember playing when we originally played. Uh, you know, good spread of decks. There's a nice, solid spread of decks out there. Uh,
Eric Leon, the man rated
but it was a good time. I had a good run. Went 4-1-1 into top eight. Was able to go through an Arceus Charizard deck, or from my boy Flavio of Team G. And then our boy Doug was playing on the Blood Moon, Baby Blood Moon Ursula with the Iron Valiance, that little ping attack deck. I got a story to tell about that him later. Uh, but yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I did that, got that on Ancient Box, lost to Reno with Drago in the finals.
And
Good.
and you were playing Ancient Box on that one. Well, what was the reason for that call and picking that deck?
So since I didn't expect it to be a lot of Charizard or Dragonbolt in the field, as the Reggie Drago kind of handles those, takes care of those. Ancient Box had a really good spread against pretty much everything else. There's not really like a whole lot of decks that gives it a lot of issue across the board. It's got a pretty good match spread, 50-50, 55, 45 matchups against everything else. Drago, depending on how they roll, what they get into, what they can start attacking with. What the attacks start copying can give you issues. There's a lot of played two Roaring Moons, the big Roaring Moons, and that's not really too much of an issue. Their mirror match, it is what it is. If you get the first knockout, you're gonna win it, unless they overextend and you can hit them with a tusk at the end. But those are basically the two win conditions that match up: first attack or one somebody overextends. And yeah, this Ancient Box got a good matchup spread, but it's what it loses to. It loses to hard. But even when I say the Charizard matchup is bad, our boy Joe was on Ancient Box as well, a slightly different build than mine, and he beat three Zards that during the tournament. So even in a bad matchup, in a best of one, you can catch him.
Yeah, I know the biggest issue with Ancient Box oftentimes is sometimes it takes three turns to be able to get rid of a Zard sitting there, so it gives your opponent the ability to kind of just slowly collect and build. But if you can put the deck together correctly, and I know I know Joe is particular has a couple of techs that are established specifically for Zard. You can clear through it if you know what you're doing in
Yep.
regards to that deck. So um, that was pretty good. So what was the top eight that was in there? Obviously, it was you playing Ancient Box. You said your opponent Flavio was running the Arc Charizard deck. What were the other matchup spreads that you saw there?
Okay, so Joe was on his version of Ancient Box, and I believe he's got a big moon in there. But it's like a cross between Ancient Box deck and a big moon deck. He's got built right. You can go either way with that. Reno was on the Reggie Drago. I can't remember, and then he was playing Jose. I can't remember what Jose was on. I'm pretty sure he was
Jose
on.
was probably on
He
Lugia.
probably was on Lugia. He probably was on Lugia. I'm pretty sure. Um, Jose was on Lugia. Oh, actually, he might have been on the Lost Box. He was showing me a Lost Box thing. I didn't really get a chance to check into what he was playing into, but uh, our boy Doug was on the Blood Moon Ursula with the Valiants, and he was playing against Michael Loco here, who's on a weird Chin Pao, no, not Chin Pao, Chin Yu Armarouge deck. Move the energies around, attack with Radiant Charizard, kind of a little bit early. Uh, that seemed kind of interesting. And then I can't remember who. I'm pretty sure the guy Joe was going against in round one was also on the Drago. So I think there's two Dragos, two ancient boxes. Whatever Jose was playing, the Blood Moon Selena, the weird Chinyu box, and Flavio, who only plays fire exclusively on the Arceus Charizard deck. That was basically the matchups, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. You know, just kind of iffy on Joe's opponent and what Jose was playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it seems like a very diverse meta in regards to that as well. Were there any other decks that came up that you were watching that were interesting, that like kind of caught your eye, or like something that you were noticing that was like a trend of like certain decks that were being played?
Uh, there was more Big Moon than I expected. There's decent amount of Big Moon going around. Obviously, Reggie Drago was strong. There's a decent amount of Reggie Drago being played. There's still some Charizard, I believe, is out there. As the I actually believe there's like 5 or 6 Zard decks being played, which is pretty surprising for me. There's probably another couple Ancient Box there. There wasn't anything too other than Michael's our local, other than Chin Yu Armarouge deck. There wasn't anything really too out the ordinary. I mean, Doug came with the little bit of Rogue deck with the Blood Moon Ursaluna and the Ursaluna Blood Moon and Iron Valiant deck. That's a little bit. That was a little bit weird. It's cool. It's a fun deck to watch play. It's very interesting,
Hmm.
right? But there wasn't too much other outside of that was very different. Obviously, the few Dragos I saw, the big difference between I was looking at the deck was, are you gonna play the Covert Flight Noivern or not? One of them I played the Covert in Swiss. I played against the guy who was playing the Covert Flight Noivern, which is very annoying because I'm playing Ancient Box. He's just hitting me. I can't attack back. And then I sit there wait with a big hand. Luckily, he has no hand disruption in that deck. Um, I just sat there with a big hand. He had to start something he didn't want to start. But he did the rest of the play great because he just loaded up one. Uh, he just loaded up one. Reggie Drago V Star and started curvating flying me, right? Which is the game plan when you go against Ancient Box. But the problem is, like, I was able to take a boss KO on something, get down to 4 prizes. I let him take 3 knockouts. He went down to 3 prizes. And since he had something on the bench, I just went counter catcher, knocked out his one attacker. He couldn't come back and do anything. Right? So that's a weird matchup. That's always annoying. Uh, Everything else was pretty much basic. I couldn't see anything else too wild. Uh, yeah, other than the Chin Yu deck, which also I believe he top 80 your guys' cup as well, today's cup. Michael with the Chin Yu Armor's deck, he top 80 that cup around, so people getting surprised by that.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I didn't see it in action. But I do know that it was catching a lot of people's eyes in regards to how things were looking and how it was being played and everything. Um, so now with your prizes that you were able to get at second place, have you opened them yet, or are you planning to keep holding on to those?
I opened everything. I always open everything to see what I can sell. Got a lot of from the prize packs. Pulled a lot of the special energies. Pulled the Regidrago V stamped. Uh, Pulled some other things. You know, got some of my money back. Pulled the Pheasantipity, the full art from the ETB box. Pulled another Peturant full art. from one DTB box. You know, came back with some other stuff, some other good, you know, worthy cards, some stuff I can get rid of. I don't play anything full above regular art, so those will all be on sale soon. Uh, but yeah, it's good pricing. I mean, Jacob Morris, one of the professors here, he ran a good event, good tight event. Not really too only on our side of the field. There's only like on our cup on Saturday. There was only realistically like one or two one or two calls that got kind of tense. Well, I'll talk about one later. I'll talk about both of them later. One was just in play on a judge call and some disagreement, and then the other one was a decklist error, which led to a amazing top eight moment for me, which is hilarious. But yeah, as Jacob ran the other cup at Evolutions today for you guys. You know, Jacob's
Yeah.
a good professor, and he always gets out there and gets a lot of good pricing for the top eight.
Yeah, no, Jacob is one of the guys that, he always tries to go above and beyond in regards to making sure that not only is the tournament running well, but he's he makes sure that the pricing is also going to be something that makes you feel like you're putting your money's worth,
Yeah,
even if you're not making a top eight in regards to that, you still feel like you got your money's worth, playing at the cup and everything, which was good on that end of it. My cup in regards to evolution, it went very poorly for me. Let's suffice it to say, I decided to run Iron Thorns. Two simple reasons why. I was thinking of running or I was thinking of running Ancient Box, but the problem with Ancient Box was I felt listening to HP and who was playing what in HP, I was figuring that there was going to be a couple of ancient boxes that were going to be at the evolution one, and I hate running mirrors. And secondly, I gave my ancient box to my child who decided to play at the cup as well. So I didn't have another deck ready. We got there late because there was a confusion in regards to I got confused as to what time it started. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna have to write a deck list out, putting down four thorns is pretty straightforward in regards to writing a deck list. So I decided to run with it. I was hoping I can catch a couple of people off guard, try to catch a couple of people, a couple Guardy players or a couple of Reggie Drago players, off guard and everything that. But I ran into Ancient Box, I ran into Turbo Moon, and they were able to get their SADAs and just kind of start moving down the pipeline. So for me, it was pretty just straightforward. Well, you're gonna KO, KO, KO. Well, okay, well that's game. Didn't work out for me, but I had fun. I had fun. I always have a blast when it comes to cups and everything because you meet some good people there, and you just it's a good experience. Just kind of hanging out with people and talking to people and joking around. I feel like our community is a very good community in regards to friendly and being open to conversations and stuff. There's not a lot of people where even if they are trying hard, they can have, they're self-aware that they're not necessarily, full of their full of themselves in regards to that. They're able to just have a good time and enjoy themselves. And so I had a blast, even though it didn't work out for me. My kid had a great time. So we left early, got some lunch, and kind of just got myself ready for the podcast tonight. That was pretty much my uneventful day today.
yeah. It was It's always good. It's always good to go up and have fun at a cup. You know, see everybody. Play some Pokemon. Play some actual serious Pokemon, which I don't really get to play that often. I don't play that often because I don't want to play that often. But it's always good, you know. And both the locations good. Evo out there in Clovis, HP out there in Fresno. Just run to the cups. It was fun. I probably gave you a little bad advice, giving you the meta spread of the HP Cup because I knew some of those people actually pulled a double as they went to the HP Cup on Saturday and then went to the Evo Cup on Sunday. There's some out of towners that came in, drove in for that, which Fresno does pretty good on being able to run back to back cups on something. Our boy Adam, who's now in Alabama for work, tried to do a lot. Tried to run double cup weekend so somebody could come out, stay the night, play the next cup, go home. Uh, yeah, it was good. I mean, I really thought looking at what I saw on Saturday, I thought, oh man, Eric, you play Thorns, it's gonna be pretty good for you. You just got but you just hit the few bad matchups that are out in the field for you.
Yeah, no, I like I said with my first matchup against Ancient Box, it was a close game against Julio, and he played it amazingly well in regards to that. But it came down to pretty much he had one last attacker, and if I was able to take out that attacker, I pretty much would have won the game because he wouldn't have had any more attackers to replenish from there. But sure enough, he drew top deck and he had an energy in hand and he just pretty much attached it and had the moon ready to KO my thorns, and that was pretty much it. You win some, you lose some in regards to this. Like I don't I don't take cups to like it's very much you have to just kind of just turn them out and keep going and going and going. In regards to that, you can play the meta or you can be cute and try to go off the meta. In regards to that, I like to kind of be cute in regards to those things. And doing that, I know sometimes I'm going to hit bad matchups and just wash out in regards to that. So, I'm not somebody that's too focused or concerned about my play state or anything like that. I know what I can do. I know my abilities, and sometimes they just don't work out for you. So you just take it in stride and move on. And then sometimes you just get like Evan and just show up and get second place.
Yeah, I proved I still got that dog in me. Still got that dog in me. Obviously, I mean, yeah, you come out with the cute shit. I mean, obviously, that's why you're Kawhi Eric, tilted head and everything. Uh, uh, but yeah, I just had to prove, the old heads who are coming out now because of the back-to-back California Worlds. It was a good run back for the old heads, me and Reno. Two ancient Pokemon players in the local community. Uh, running it back, running through a finals against each other one more time. Uh, Hate playing against the guy. I love him. I love Reno. He's a troll. I do love him. I hate playing against him. Just hate it. I hate playing him. Terrible. Uh, but yeah, it was good. It's good. I like that I got to see some people that I don't. I like to see that Paul is back playing and he's actually gonna probably try to give it a try this season. He's a good player. He's a guy that's been around for a while. Was a good Magic player as well. There's a if you can find, I'll probably do a stream one day watching Paul stream that match at our Magic. I don't know if they call it regionals or whatever. But he's on stream, in like a round 11. Uh, and the announcers kept talking shit on the fact that Paul was playing basic lands. He didn't have any fancy lands in his deck, which was dumb. That was hilarious. Uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's good. Ancient Box. I just went with it partly because it was at what I had built, but partly because I think it's still good. And looking forward to Baltimore. I really think it's gonna perform well in Baltimore. If people can because I don't expect Zard to get as much play or even Pult to get as much. I mean, Pult wasn't getting any play at Worlds really, and I don't expect Zard to get really any play unless somebody figures something out for the Regidrago matchup, right? Unless somebody can figure something out for the Regidrago matchup, I don't expect that to get too much play. So, man, this box is gonna be really good. I think. Looking forward for Baltimore. I mean, we'll get more in depth on that conversation a couple weeks from now, but that's something I've been thinking about all today. I was like, man, what are the Baltimore? As we know about like 5, 6 people locally that are going there to that regional, and I was just trying to think
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I know Mikey is one of them. I know Dre is another one, and best of luck to you guys out there because it's I mean, the first regional in regards to that, I went to Pittsburgh last year, which was the first regional, and it was very much those that first regional. One of the biggest things that kind of a lot of people were kind of on edge about is just more who's going to play what. What exactly are the matchups? What are the decks that are going to be played? And how is everything going to break down in regards to that? And so that's just kind of one of the things where right now we have such a wide meta in regards to, the one deck that does well in one tournament is not going to be doing successfully in the next one. It's such a volatile meta in regards to, deck A does well, but it does terrible over here, and then this deck does good, but this deck doesn't. Then it wins again, and then it loses in another one. It's going to be interesting to see that. And so um picking the right deck and finding the right matchup and just being able to call the meta is that first tournament is going to be more important than I think, a lot of the other tournaments that are going to be out there, just because it's the first one and everybody's going to, come out to those types of tournaments. And so best of luck out there in regards to that. It is not for the faint of heart.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't wait to go to my first regional, which is gonna be SAC in November. I don't really plan on going to anything before that, and then I want to see what else gets announced going forward. Uh, I also know that Stellar Crown is coming out soon. I was surprised on Saturday when I was talking to people like how quickly Stellar Crown's coming out. It's only a couple weeks away from that. I mean,
Yeah.
we got pre-releases coming up this
I think it's
weekend.
like Yeah, pre-release is this weekend, and I think it comes out technically in like 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think
And it is
the
going to be a whole new meta immediately again.
yeah. I mean, and we'll talk about that once after Baltimore. We'll talk about the Stellar Crown meta, what we think is be good, everything. Or we may talk about that the same weekend we talk about Baltimore. Uh, but I want to get into like a story from my cup about a boy Doug, which is very interesting, very fun. So Doug was on the Blood Moon Irelian deck, and Doug pretty much went through. Went 5-1 in 5-1 was number one seed going into a top cut, and during deck check he realized he wrote his blood moons, the baby blood moons, incorrectly. Instead of putting three, he put one. So he had to swap them out for the two basic energies, and then he got a game loss. And everybody's like, "Ah, that's it for Doug, man. That sucks. That sucks." So I was sitting there playing Flavio, going through. I kind of rolled Flavio. Flavio's a little rusty, so he star burst with the active Arceus while I had a Flutter Mania active, and he got 2 prize penalty for that. Uh, because Guh, I don't know. But he, he's a little rusty. I'll give him that. Flavio's a good player, but he's a little rusty. So we got through our matchup pretty quick. I only had to take 4 prizes there. In the next match, I kind of just got rolling. He didn't really get anything going, so we got done with all our set pretty quick, our best of three, and then we checked in on the other thing, and I just got told somebody walked over, told me like, "Hey, yo, Doug's gonna bring this back, bro. Doug's bringing it back," and Doug did come back with the one Blood Moon and win technically, which was game two because he got the game one loss. Got it, boom. Then went over there and watched him just run through, start working game three, and yo, he was like, Doug was like, "F it, let's go." He had the one Blood Moon in his hand, just opened it, and he just researched it away. He's like, "I gotta get set up." Researched away, came back, there's a nice stretcher back up, go for the attack, and just kept pulling that thing back out of the discard, kept pulling that thing out of the back on the discard, start taking knockouts. And coming down to the end, Doug's on 2 prizes, opponent's on 1 prize. Doug just took a knockout on a Radiant Zard to put himself. Michael, who was playing that weird Chinyu fire deck, had to was trying to piece together with a small deck, with a small hand, a knockout to win the game. Couldn't get it. Just couldn't piece it back together. Couldn't piece together back the knockout. And Doug was able to just come back in, boom, knockout, sweep up, finish up with the Blood Moon, and spiteful run back. What a spiteful run back he had after game one loss, having only one real attacker. Came back. Luckily, didn't prize him in either one of the games. Luckily, didn't surprise me to win the games. Got to top four, and then I kind of just rolled Doug in top four. Yeah, just kind of rolled him in top four. They didn't have the same luck, but I was playing. It's harder to do what he did against a one price deck than it is to do against what Michael was playing.
Yeah, no, that sounds crazy. I mean, I played that deck myself, so I understand the mechanics of you are cycling through your blood moons, and a lot of that deck is built on recovering the blood moon to immediately get back in and go again and attack. So I understand how he was able to do that, but to do it with just one is it's a feat. It is definitely a feat to pull off in regards to that. So I mean, kudos to you, Doug. You stuck it in there like a champ, and you came out on the other side. Didn't work out to you against Evan, but Evan was rolling hot anyways.
Yeah, I was rolling super hot. It was good. Kind of just bricked up a little bit against Reno and game in the finals, but kind of what happened. And well, I wasn't really gonna try that much in finals. I just wanted to make him sweat for the cup win a little bit. Obviously, he's going. He's on the team. He's on Team Bird Dog, Kakao Wolf. Uh, they got their guys trying to get these wins, trying to make worlds. So even if I started rolling Reno, I was just gonna kind of give him. I was gonna give him the win on paper. Even if I would have won that matchup, even somehow Reno did crap, I did good. Even if I would have won that matchup, I would have marked it the other way on the slip, gave him the points. I would take the mat though. I would 100% took the mat. But uh, it was good. It's good. Our boy Gazer had a little issue at the cup as well, which has been funny for us in our group chat the last 24 hours. Uh, Make sure you announce the correct attack you want to announce. If you want to announce, what is the attack he wanted to announce?
I think it's like Bellowing Thunder.
Yeah, he wanted to announce Belling Thunder, and he announced Burst Roar. And yeah, his opponent didn't let him take it back. His opponent, who's kind of known, it's Arcadio. I don't know if Arcadio's watching this or not. I don't know if he does. He follows me on X, so if I posted it, I don't know if he's gonna see it later. He did. What was exactly in his right? Right? It's a League Cup. Gazer announced the wrong attack. Arcado called him on it, and the judge came over and was like, "Oh, you did announce the wrong attack, bro." Gazer discard 8 cards at hand after saying, "Are you serious?" for 8 minutes in a row. Uh, just sitting there for 2 minutes saying, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" But look, man, we've all got hit with that before. We've all got roll sharked before. It's not something that's super. It's not something that's out of the ordinary. Everybody gets roll sharked. I've gotten roll sharked. Eric, I'm sure you got roll sharked. Um, I did it to you at I think it was a challenge one day when you were attacking with your uh, Pokemon League headquarters down, and you need more, or I don't know, you had something down that made the attack or something more, and you kept doing your attack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I remember that one. Yeah,
yeah,
I took a KO when I wasn't supposed to take a KO.
exactly. I was like, no, that stadium works for you too. But that was more just me, neither one of us paying attention, and me realizing after the fact, and us being like, ah, crap. There was no reversing
Yeah,
that, and I've been like hard rule shocked by people before. Uh,
I think one of the funniest ones I've seen. I won't name names, but it was two local competitors going up in a challenge, and they one of them contested a the card sleeves in regards to the colors of it, and basically made the entire guy go through the deck, look at the cards and test the card sleeves in regards to that, and then trying to rule shark him to try to see if he can get the DQ win in regards to having bad sleeves. And then the next following turn, the person who tried to rule shark on the card sleeves goes for a squawk and sees and squawks into 7 cards. And so the other person rule sharked him back in regards to getting that taken care of. And yeah, and then after that, the dude just scooped and went home.
And Eric's too nice to say who
So
that. Eric's too nice to say who those were, but that was Reno and Jacob, the Lopez boys. Uh, I don't care. Jacob is also the person that helped me win my most favorite cup when him and our boy Josh Aaron got double DQ'd in finals and then let me win the cup because I was technically in third place. That was my favorite cup win because everybody else is stressing out, and them two get double DQ'd in finals, and I get a cup win and a mat for it. It was great, the best of times.
yeah, but talking about rule sharking, I think that's an interesting aspect for a lot of people because I know for Gazer's situation, one of the biggest things it felt like a friend was basically stabbing him in the back
Yeah,
in regards to that. But like you said, he is well within his right, and technically, when you announce your attack, you can't say, "Whoops, my bad. Mind if I run that back really quickly?" You announce the attack, that is final in regards to that. So, rule sharking I know is sometimes frowned upon in regards to how you do it. Um, as the actual act itself in regards to, rule sharking, what exactly is your kind of guidelines in regards to when do you go for the judge in regards to that, and when do you let things slide?
for me, I kind of really try not to rule shark on stuff like that. If somebody announces a wrong attack, I'm not gonna get on him for it, right? If you announce the wrong attack when you meant to say something else, what it is, what it is. But if you announce the wrong attack, go through with it, but you realize it was a wrong attack you wanted to do. If a Pokemon has two attacks, you wanted to do the other one, and he's tried to take it back. I'm like, no. At that point, it's like, well, obviously now you're changing your mind after you made a decision, right? That's kind of different. But in like, if I was going against Gage that situation and he said Burst Roar instead of Bellowing Thunder, I would have been like, okay, yeah, you take it back. It is what it is. What do you want me to do? Um, Obviously, I call a judge on Flavio for picking up his deck on the Arceus V Star when I had Flood Mini active. That's just something where you gotta call judge. There's not really anything you can do about that. Flavio looked at his deck. He started looking at the bottom of his deck before I could stop him. Uh, so that's kind of how it is. And the attack situation that actually happened at a regional. I can't remember who it is. I think it was Zach Lesage, I want to say. Recently, it was within the current year or so because it was on a Garatina deck he was playing. And he announced Lost Impact and said, or he announced it. What's the Garatina V Star attack?
Star Requiem.
He announced Star Requiem instead of Lost Impact, and it was he said the wrong attack. He wanted the other one, but yeah, you announce the attack, you announce the attack. That's what you got to live with, right? Um, so it
Yeah, and I
is.
don't think he had 10 in the lost zone
He did.
either,
He
so
did
it
not.
was like
He did not have 10 in the loss
it was
zone.
just a wasted turn.
Is a waste to turn, and that's on stream with judges there. So that's like that's the ruling. You announce the attack. That's the attack you got to do, right? That's that's in the rule book. That's how it is. That's how it is. Uh, Obviously, like me personally, I wouldn't do it unless I really didn't like the guy I was playing against. Unless he was being a real jerk. But if it was just a normal person, even a neutral, I'll just be like, yeah, that's fine. Take it back. It is what it is. Uh, Arcadio plays a certain way, and that's how he plays. And I know when I play against him, I got to be on my toes about all that stuff. So yeah, you just gotta like be a little bit more careful on those kind of things. Uh, and hey, Gazer made a mistake. He got over it. He's hot for a minute. He got over it. They're good now. But next time he plays them, he's gonna be a little bit more on the careful side. And let's say Gazer is a very diligent player to begin with. He really does think through his moves. You know, takes his time. He's a slow player. Uh, I just wish he would have taken a little bit slower at that period of time. Uh, uh, but yeah, rule sharking is a certain thing. It's gets a bad rap because you call it rule shark. I think there's a difference between just calling judges for errors and then rule sharking. Like rule sharking is really when you try to get every advantage. You're calling on every little thing, right? That's what's truly the definition of rule sharking. But if somebody makes a legitimate gameplay error and you call judge, that's not rule sharking. Somebody draws 7 cards instead of 6. That's not rule sharking. It's calling judge to get come over and figure this out, right? Your opponent picks up the deck when they shouldn't pick up the deck. That's not rule sharking. You know, hey, he's getting more information. We gotta call a judge to get dealt with. You know, that's that's not rule sharking, but that's just calling it is. But there's some people they'll be like, oh, he didn't have this, or his discard pile isn't organized neatly, right? His shuffle isn't good, or there's certain other things where it's like, obviously it's you're just trying to getting people on every little thing, and that's the true what people mean when they say rule sharking. When somebody's trying to get you on every little aspect. Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you didn't do this little thing. Oh, you drew for turn before you're supposed to draw for turn. Like, I haven't taken my prize yet. You shouldn't draw for turn yet, right? That's actual rule sharking. That's not uh, just calling somebody on an error issue.
Right, right. No, I know. And I know on my side of things, like I look at Pokemon as a very simple thing. It's a children's card game, you know. So I understand it, and for me in particular, I with my personal thought process, my anxiety, my ADHD, I very much go quick, go fast, and I've done it like we talked about with the matchup that you and me had. I'll be like, okay, cool, swing for knockouts, swing for knockout, swing for knockout. Wait a second, I can't do that. Whoops, I completely forgot about that. Or sometimes I've made errors in regards to I barrel for 5 cards when I already had 2 cards in my hand, because I just kind of go in regards to that, and so I understand in those things, errors happen in regards to that, and when for me it always comes down to when you do something that gains you an advantage, like you know hey, you look at the top card of your deck and you say, "Oh, you know what? Or I was going to do that anyways with this." Well, maybe you were, maybe you weren't. That's something where I would like to get a judge on and just kind of, hey, you know what? Play it safe in regards to that. But at the same time, I very much yeah, it's not that important to me, when we're playing games here. If I'm in a top 8 in a cup and something like that happens, that's a different conversation. We're in top 8, buddy.
Yeah.
Like we gotta be on point with each other. Now, it is as as is also an understanding, it is also your opponent's responsibility to keep the board state in a in a respectful manner as well. And that's something that, you know, if I'm about to make a mistake, you gotta, depending on it from there, you should also be aware of saying, "Hey, don't do that." Well, hold on a second. Somebody today when I was playing Iron Thorns, they put down Radiant Greninja and they said, "I'm going to Greninja and draw 2 cards," and I had to stop them right before they touched their hand on their deck to be like, "You can't do that. I have this in play." And we just kept playing from there. It was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. My bad." And we just kind of kept on going from there. That's I mean, because it's about playing games. It's about having fun in regards to Pokemon. That's how I see it. I don't necessarily take this as that, oh, I have to win every single match, or I gotta do what I gotta do to win here. It's like whatever. It is what it is. I depending on the level of it, as long as you're not, as long as it doesn't gain you the full advantage of deck knowledge or getting a knockout or something like that. You burst roar. I got what you're saying. I know what you meant by that. Go right ahead. I'm not gonna, it's not gonna change the state of the game. I still got win, or I'm still gonna lose at this point, anyways. That's just how I see it. I understand that I'm looking at it from a very casual aspect of it. I'm not, trying to compete for worlds. I'm not trying to get my points or anything. So, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt in regards to that. But that's just my opinion on when you when you call judges and when you decide to, be a rule shark.
Yeah, that's always becomes an issue. Like obviously, me and you have a certain outlook on a game. We a lot more on the casual side. I mean, we try. We're gonna go out there and give our best effort, but like you said, we're gonna be a little bit more forgiving on some of these things on depending on the level we're at. And obviously, top end cup, you're gonna call somebody on it, but during Swiss, you may be like, all right, it is what it is. And then at locals, you're like, whatever. We're just playing at locals. Who cares, right? And I think that's kind
Oh yeah,
of
no, in locals, I literally tell people, "Hey, do you want to reverse your play if you made a mistake?" Like I'll be
yeah,
like, "Yeah, no, no, go ahead, reset the whole board." Like because locals is it. I look at locals as training,
yeah.
and then that's how I see locals. So I can. I'll let people reset the entire board state if they make a mistake so that they can kind of get the right sequencing down.
Yeah, that's all that is. It's just about training. It's just about having fun and getting through those. But yeah, obviously, rule shark is a thing that happens all the time. Obviously, like you just go on X, you start scrolling through, and down the cup weekend, somebody's gonna talk about it. Especially at regionals, you're gonna see at least one or two people post about, "Oh man, I got hella rule shark by this dude," or whatever. And we'll talk about those in the future as region during any of the SCOT that happens during regional internets weekends like that. As I somehow all that stuff pops up on my X. X knows exactly what I like. I want to be in all the Pokemon drama. I want to be on the wrestling drama. That's all. That's what I want to read when I'm on there. Um, but yeah, it's just because like obviously for me and you, we see it as a different aspect. But from somebody like Cardio, he sees it as yeah, I'm trying to win. He's like, I'm trying to win every game I play, so I'm gonna take every advantage I can get on that. And he was totally within his right to take it. It's in the Pokemon rules. You read the Pokemon rules. The attack you announced is the end of your turn. That's the attack that goes through. If it can be done or not, that's depending on the board state. But it is what it is. It was just a bad time yesterday for a little bit. Obviously, we clowned on Greaser for about 24 hours in the group chat about it. Uh, but
Yeah, no, I had to call him, and I was just like, I had to call him up because I was like, first of all, hey, buddy, really sorry to hear about that. Second of all, burst roar for knockout. We really doing this here? Yeah, no, I understand, and and like you said, there's certain players where when you go into that matchup, you have to be aware of who your opponent is. That's just common knowledge. You got to know, hey, I'm going to go up against somebody who's going to play by the book, and regardless of if it's a challenge, if it's a league night, if it's a cup, they are going to play this by the book, and they will call judges regardless of that aspect. And that's just something that you know it's a part of the game. You have to factor that in. You have to factor in, your opponent, how your opponent thinks. You know, I know when a lot of people play me, it's probably very much a okay. Let's just wait for this guy to make a mistake here because he's probably going to squawk for seven. That's just what he likes to do. You know, so your opponent is very much an important thing to understand in the game, and sometimes you just have to be aware of that. It's situational awareness, like we talked about with the world's tournament. You got to keep those things in mind.
yeah, exactly. It's just like you gotta know everything that happens. You gotta be on point with all your stuff, especially the higher levels you get. Obviously, you got a local or even a challenge. You can kind of like, hey, it is what it is. And when you're at a cup, regional, internets, worlds, whatever, you gotta be like, all right, I gotta be on point. I gotta make sure everything I see and everything I do is right. I gotta make sure, hey, if I'm drawing three, I'm only drawing three. If I'm drawing seven, I'm only drawing seven. Right? Take the precautions, take it just a little bit slower than what you do regularly. Really count out those cards. Make sure that's how I do with everything. It's how I do with Ancient Box when I was playing in the cup. You see me play, I kind of just like whatever, go through. At the cup, I'm like, okay, Poke Gear. Let me make sure I'm drawing seven. So I'm like, okay, I got five in my hand. Okay, I got six in my hand. Okay, I got seven in my hand. Or Spoiler Guidance. Okay, I got five. Okay, I got six. There you go. Right? I'm making sure that I'm doing exactly what thing is trying to do exactly what the card is or the attack is or what the thing is, so I'm not getting called on anything, right? It gets rough. It gets hard as you keep playing, as you try and do more. Uh, it does as you keep playing. You get tired. You know, you might take an easy way out. You know, it is tiring. Playing Pokemon is tiring. It's it gets rough, and especially when you're playing best of one, you're like, oh, I only got one shot at this. I gotta get this right now. I gotta do this right now, right? Nah, I got one shot, one match to get this figured out. Uh, so you just try to lock in and get it done, but obviously, like, hey, you're gonna have a mental lapse here and there, right? And you'll be like, ah, man, and then you accidentally draw seven, especially on decks that have multiple draws. Like, oh, you forget you're going in for Explorer's Guidance, and you think you're going in for Pokegear, and you draw seven instead of six, and you're like, oh, damn it, what the fuck did I just do, right? Which happened to me at a cup about a month ago, last one. I was at a cup, and I was going in, I played Explorer's Guidance, but for some reason in my head, I was like, I'm doing a Pokegear, and I drew seven instead of drawing the six. And we got King Dre Clout in chat, and obviously, like, you only get one shot to do this. Don't miss your chance to blow. Uh, classic Eminem lyrics right there. What a call, by King Dre Clout right there. But yeah, it's rough, man. If you don't play a lot, if you're not used to it, if you're like not feeling that great that day or whatever, just totally you can just have that simple little mental lapse and just make that one mistake, which basically was what happened to Gazer. He made a mental lapse, he announced the wrong attack, and then his opponent called him on it. Same thing for my top 8 match. Flavio, who's out of practice, been on the One Piece more recently than Pokemon. Didn't remember the Fluttermane was inactive with that ability and just starburted, and got a 2 price penalty for that. Right, and it's even like earlier, like, hey, if you're writing out your list, you give a mental lapse when you're writing out your list, and you get the situation when Doug messed up his counts on his Blood Moons, and kind of hurt him a little bit in top 8. When he played against me, we need to have as many access to many attackers. But yeah, so that's a real thing. Like, and it's especially more so. I mean, it happens in Cups, and even more so at regionals. Regionals, you're just like sitting there like from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and you're just sitting there playing games and playing Pokemon. You're getting tired. You're probably not eating as much. You're probably not drinking enough water. You probably had too many energy drinks, and you're just like not thinking through every one of your plays, and you just get on autopilot and you make a mistake.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I did that in San Antonio, and I know you remember me just sitting outside, just smoking cigarettes, consistently trying to calm my nerves down. Because that was the best way for me to kind of just ease the tension in regards to the next match. Okay, got to get ready for the next round now. And gotta either because I won or I lost, I had to reset my entire mindset. And so for me, one of the biggest things I was doing was, I was going outside, just open up a pack of marbles and just taking a puff, taking another cig, and just trying to, keep my nerves together in regards to that. Because no, playing at a regional, it is very much, it's an endurance run. It's one of the things because it's a best of 3, and B, you're playing 9 rounds, and so that's a lot of Pokemon that you're playing
Yeah,
in one tournament.
it's rough. It's tiring, bro. It's tiring. So the older you get, I'm not a young man anymore. Back in the day, even it was even rough when I was in my 20s. I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm sitting out here being like, man, I'm sleeping in a bed that's not mine. Man, I got this pillow that isn't the kind of pillow I use when I sleep. And I got like tried to get some sleep with these other dudes in the room too. I was like, and you wake up, you're not feeling as great, and you're like, okay, let me chug this energy drink, and then you get too much, you chug another one later, another one, you got a coffee, and you're like, oh man, I had too much caffeine. What am I doing? My heart feels like it's gonna explode. And you're trying to go there and make sure you're making every little play correctly. It's rough, man. It's rough. And regional seasons, the new season's upon us, and I'm sure of the like 2,000 whatever players that's registered for Baltimore, there'd be a lot of people that don't get enough sleep the night before. Either testing, they're trying to figure some stuff out, and they're gonna try to play, and they're not gonna be feeling great, and there'll be people making mistakes. Then they're gonna make the mistakes, and they're gonna be pissed, and they're gonna post about it on X, and I'm gonna come back and tell them like, hey, maybe you should have got some sleep. Hey, maybe you should have thought about your plays. Hey, being the a-hole I am on X. Uh, but yeah, it's rough. I mean, this was like, playing Cubs. This is only my second Cup of the season. The first one, I missed out on top. I missed out on Top Cut. This is my first Top Cut of the season. But it's rough, man. It's rough. By the time we got done, we started at 12. We started at noon, and we finished finals around like a little before 7. I want to feel like finished finals a little before 7. That's kind of just because I kind of just we played through one game, and then I just kind of just let Reno have it, walk it through. Let him have the win, as he's the guy that's kind of trying to chase worlds, so he can get one cup win out the way. Um, but yeah, I was really tired. I was really tired. That's kind of like is the reason why I didn't want to go play in a cup today. Otherwise, I would have been there, with you at Evo. But I kind of just woke up this morning and been like, because I knew there was still spots available, so I didn't have to like pre-reg. I could have just walked in and got a seat, as there was still some little bit of space available. But yeah, I did not feel that great today, and I just like, man, I'm just gonna sleep in. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna get up and make that 30-minute drive out there for me to get to Evo to play. Yeah, just we're not young anymore, Eric. We're not young anymore.
No, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. So that's why like for me, I'm like, you know what, this season it's for, it's for the Jose's, it's for the Mikeys, the young at heart that want to, chase that dream. Go get it, buddy. I'm gonna sit at home in my comfortable jammies, talking about what's happening in regards to that, and discussing, what plays would be with my boy Evan over here. That seems more comfortable than running into tournaments.
Are those different jammies than you were to locals, or the same jammies?
I like to rotate them.
Okay.
I like to rotate them. I don't. I, Same jammies would be kind of weird.
This fool, first time I met Eric, he just rolled in with some jammies, uh, some weird comic book T-shirt, and a top knot. And I was like, all right, this dude's living life.
I wanted to be comfy. What can I say? I like to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I agree. I mean, you see what I wear 90% of the time. I'm in like a tank top, some basketball shorts, and some Crocs. I like to be comfortable as well, bro. Um, so I can. Yeah, I don't need to dress up for anybody. I'm trying to be as comfortable and as relaxed as I am when I'm playing. Uh, man, are you so? I can't wait to play the next cup. I don't know the next cup I'm gonna be playing, but I'm gonna try to play a different deck. I finally got Drago built up, right? Uh, I'm probably never gonna play Thorns. I've tried playing it online. I can't play it at all. It's just not a play style I am for. The same reason why I can't play Snorlax. Uh, I know you, Ancient Box, love Ancient Box, but that because about my love for Vessel Queen, and it feels like a very similar deck to me. Get a bunch of stuff in the discard. Let's hit. Uh, and then also looking at some of these decks coming out for our Stellar Crown. You got any ideas of a deck you want to build first in Stellar Crown? Because I got one that I know for sure I'm building first.
The one that I'm super interested in, just because I can see the potential, but I don't know how well it'll function, is the Hisuian Zoroark deck. Because you can go wide, and then you can hit all your damage counters on your Mons, and then you can just punch really hard in regards to that, because Hisuian Zoroark was a fast deck in the first place. It just doesn't have the numbers to really kind of keep up with the pace.
Let's feel good.
So
How are you gonna get the damage on the board other than with the damage like transfer item?
it's Dugtrio.
Oh
Dugtrio
yeah, yeah.
puts a damage counter on it, and you draw a card.
Okay, so
So
basically you gotta get one turn set up. You put the 4 Dugtrios on the board, plus probably a Terrapagos as your Terra type Pokemon. Get the
Yep.
Stadium. You get the Zoroark active. The Dugtrio, damage, move
And
damage if
then
you
the
need to, and
Gengar.
attack. Yeah, Gengar,
Yeah. And then you get
Gengar up.
Gengar in there as well. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
smart. Actually, that's pretty good because if they do bump your stadium, you just bump the Gengars, replace the stadium, put the Gengars back.
Yep. That's why I was
Okay,
like, you
yeah,
know what?
yeah, yeah.
That one to me has a lot of potential.
That's
I'm very
actually,
interested to see that.
yeah. I wasn't even
If
thinking
it's
that. I am stunned right now. I was totally shocked by that right now. I haven't been.
if it's like,
I
whoa,
just, yo, I
whole new
yeah.
dimension.
I just saw the Hisuian Zorax in my bulk V's and EXs box I got for sale, and I was just
Hmm.
like, man, this was a thing at one point. I'm like, hey, maybe a thing again if you're telling me this. Gotta get those Gengars and stuff. I should have a bunch of them in my bulk. I might actually build that. I mean, my idea is pretty much the same except this with the Palkia V Star. You know,
Yeah.
so say swell them, play 3-3 line of Palkia V Star, play 3 Terrapagos, play some other cards that let you draw cards. You know, play through with the B-Burls and stuff, and then you get going. But obviously, if I get stadium bumped, that's gonna hurt. So I'm going to play like in night stretches, whatever, to get stuff back on the board. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting once the Solar Crowns drop, which is shockingly very quickly around the corner. Um,
No, I'm very disappointed. I'm gonna miss a lot of pre-releases this weekend because I'm gonna be out of town.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
we're gonna have no episode next week because Eric's gonna be in Sack Anime, just slinging creations.
We I mean, we might come up with some content though. We might find something. I might cook up something over there
Yeah.
because I know Sac Anime. There's a lot of card dealers there, and sometimes they like to do like little events in regards to like tournaments and things like that. So, you know what? It may not be a podcast, but we may have some content to talk about later down the line.
Well, yeah. I may go live from Fantasy Draft if I can remember to do it if I'm having too many beers. Uh, which we will talk about in the future on this on the podcast as I'm gonna start giving weekly updates about that. As it going, me and Eric go head to head in that podcast. It's gonna be great. One on one, me and Eric. Fantasy football. I've drafted it. You got drafted into the league this season. It expands the franchise. But yeah, Sack Anime is gonna be good. I'm not gonna be able to hit any. I'm not gonna be able to hit any pre-releases next week either. Next weekend, I'll probably hit some on the week or the week after. I want to hit at least two. I usually try to hit at least two pre-releases. They're fun. They're entertaining. But yeah, I don't think we got too much more to talk about this week. Uh, Obviously, we both had Cubs, different experience with the Cubs. Both had fun though. That's a big thing. That's the key for us when playing Pokemon. Have enjoy our time out there. Uh, you got anything else you want to talk about, or are you good?
No, I think from here, that'll conclude it in for us. So, I'm good on my end, and for everybody listening, for everybody watching, I always say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for spending time listening to two old heads just talking about Pokemon, talking about a piece of cardboard and a children's card game. So, that's it on my end. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. If your first time here listening to us, give us a follow, give us a like. We definitely appreciate it. And from our bedrooms, thank you very much for your time, and you have a good rest of your day.
Not everybody.